We see in the Saraya of Dibros, right? On the left side, the second side of the Dibros. So it says, right, it gives low, right? Low sirtzach, don't murder. Low signo, right? Don't steal. Low sinof, low. But the last one, low sachmod, doesn't stop with low sachmod. Don't covet, don't be jealous. But it continues and gives us a lot of ideas of what we shouldn't be jealous of, right? Low sachmod eshes recha, don't be jealous of your friend's wife. Don't be jealous of your friend's husband. Don't be jealous of his chamor, of his Tesla, of his shore, right? Of his Lexus, right? And don't be jealous of his servant or his maid, which is the hardest one, right? Try not being jealous of some cleaning lady, right? Okay. Very difficult. So why does the Torah give us this list, right? This list of things. Don't be jealous, nikuda, right? And finish discussion. No, because it's not just don't be jealous. Because what happens with jealousy? Jealousy is chaver mevi chaver. One friend brings another, right? Buy one, get two free, okay? You open up a little bit to jealousy, and jealousy begins to sink us. And it becomes an obsession, and it becomes quicksand. The letters, the word yavan, which is Greek, which is our enemy that we defeated on Chodesh, in Chanukah. The word yavan also means, as we see in Perek Mem, the 40th chapter of Tehillim, mitit hayavein. It means quicksand as well. Look at the word yavan. Right. Yavan is yud, little bit, right? Vav, same letter as yud, just extension. And the end of nun, the same letter as the yud, vav, even lower. It is quicksand. It brings us and sinks us. And that is entitlement. And that is I deserve. It ends up bringing us into home, into a pit which is very difficult to climb out of. But we all do it all the time, right? Hashem takes us out of that pit. Why? Because if we add hey to yud, vav, nun, what do we get? Yonah, the faithful bird, which Klal Yisrael is called, Yonah Sibechag Vehasela, who always returns to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? I have a really big problem now. I have these pigeons who decided that my Merpeset, this Yonah, my Merpeset is their home, right? And they have decided it's not their home, but they have decided that my entire Merpeset is their personal bathroom. And you can't get rid of them, right? Because fortunately that we keep the Torah, but we're not allowed to poison them because they die slowly and it's Tsar Balei Chayim. Wait, okay. You can't really poison pigeons. Be happy because the Beit Hamikdash is here, you can sacrifice. But I'm not getting into the practical discussion, right? The concept of that you cannot get rid of the Yonah, it always comes back. That's the loyalty, that's the faith. That's why Klal Yisrael is called the Yonah. So when we take Yavan, this quicksand, right, and we add on it an attachment to Hashem, the Hey, we know that even if we fall into the pit of jealousy, into the pit of entitlement, very far from the place of gratitude, which is healthy physically, spiritually, emotionally, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can always bring us back, and he always will bring us back because we have the Hey. And what happens if we add tzaddik, right? The mindset of tzaddik, if we add tzaddik to Yud Vav Nun, we have Tzion, right? Yerushalayim. Because we can always either attach ourselves to Hashem, attach ourselves to a tzaddik, and we can get out of that quicksand, that pit, a place of which we would think is no return, but for us it is a place of return. We attach to a tzaddik, we attach to Hashem, and we can get into a state of Reena. Now we'll talk about what Reena is. So lahodas lahalo, this is where we're aiming to get. This is what we want to be, in a place of appreciation. So let's ask the other question. What makes appreciation so difficult? What makes sliding into low sachmod, looking at what other people have, wanting what other people have, dissatisfaction or entitlement? Why is that such a slippery slope? And why is it so easy? And what's the trufa to that? So we see in the Saraya of Tzfat, going back to low sachmod, when we fold the Saraya of Tzfat in half, they align with each other. They're connected. we can fold it in half from right side to left side, and we can fold it in half also from up and down. Right now, today, I want to look at it, what happens when we fold it from right side to left side. When we fold it from right side to left side, so we have kabeda savicha ve'esimecha, right? Honor your father and your mother, is parallel, is a partner, is a twin to lo sachva. Now, if we look in the general world today, right, it's very obvious what the connection is, right? All the more that people don't appreciate what they have, they respect their parents less. The amount of respect that people give their parents today, right, is declining. Now, if you talk to somebody in the age of anyone in this room, right, parents are something kadosh, right? Parents, it doesn't matter what. They gave you money, they didn't give you money. They gave you a chinuch that you like, they didn't give you a chinuch you like. They were warm and fuzzy, or they weren't warm and fuzzy. They were your parents. Nikuda. Today, it's almost like, well, children give their parents a report card, right? It's an excuse. I mean, if you read, I read sometimes a lot of literature, legal literature about excusing people who've committed crimes. It is unbelievable how it is such a common defense tactic, which works because they had a bad childhood and their parents, right? It's their parents' fault. It's their ganenet's fault because when they cut, she reprimanded them about how they held their scissors. Or I don't know what. It's always somebody else's fault. The concept of responsibility is very, very, very weak, right? I'm not responsible for what I did because I was raised by barbarians, right? I was even, they don't even say that. I was raised by very emotionally cold people. So I became a sociopath. Really? Wow. That's amazing. Okay. And judges buy it in America, juries buy it, hook, line, and sinker, where the criminal is able to be me'orer such rachmanis on himself for blaming other people and giving a pity party that he gets exonerated. He becomes the victim. And it's olam hafach. So when a person respects their parents and they respect the life that their parents gave them, with the nitunim, all of the conditions that their parents gave them, right? They were warm, they were cold. They weren't warm enough, they were too cold. Too many gvulot, too little gvulot. Whatever they gave them, whatever they got, when they respect that, they respect their own life and they're not jealous. They're not trying to live vicariously through somebody else. They're not trying to try on somebody else's life. They're not spending their days in remuneration over things could have been different if, right? If, all that if. So the way to stay out of the quicksand is to respect one's parents, meaning to respect the life that they gave us and to respect the life that we have and who we are, right? Someone who tries to deny their past and say, well, I started a new page, I'm a new person, I have nothing to do, doesn't matter where I come from, that's wrong. Where we come from is what we're supposed to be proud of. We start the Haggadah. We start the Haggadah of Leil Seder. We could start with the story of Yaakov going down to Mitzrayim. Where do we start with? Terach. Mitzchila, Avuseinu, Ovdei Avodah Zarah. Way back when, right? Where do we all come from? What's our yichus card? Our big yichus card is we come from Terach, who served idols. And not just served idols, he had a store, right? He had the, finest department store of idols, right? He had the Gucci of idols, okay? What? It was also a Nimrod. Here, the main yichus is we come from? We come from idol worshippers. And we're not embarrassed about it. It's part of the Haggadah, part of the telling over is where did I come from? What happened to me? Where have I been? And where am I today, right? Where am I today? Who am I today? And to be proud of that. When we can develop that kind of attitude, that kind of histaklut, vision, and looking at things, that's when we're bringing ourselves to a place where we're available for one of the most powerful tefillahs. And of course, we said that about every tefillah. But one of the most powerful tefillahs, which is Reena, which is the joyous song. So prayer has always been the soul's bridge to the divine. This is how we connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because we could think thoughts, right? But when we actually say them, that's when we're giving it power. We're giving it energy. Our words are energy, right? we are actually a co-creator of Hashem, right? We co-create with Hashem every Friday night when we say Kiddush. Kiddush, Hashem says, those who say Kiddush on Friday night, they are my partner in creation of the world. I'm Hashem's partner, right? How am I Hashem's partner? What? Because when I verbalize, right? Yom Hashishi vaychul hashamayim va'aretz, when I'm saying those words that came the sixth day, and Hashem completed creating heaven and earth and everything in it. Vayonach bayom hashvi, and he rested on the seventh day, on Shabbos, right? I am giving energy to that fact. I am making it alive. I am making it, creating a consciousness. It's becoming a reality. It's amazing how a person could be extremely attached to reality sometimes, and sometimes we're extremely detached from reality. I heard an amazing story last night. There was an incredible event here in Yigal alone, the Hitba'adut for Yutet Kislev, and it was really amazing. Great speakers, and then this play from these two women who actually they spoke about Kivud Aim, honoring their mother, and it was really incredible, really, really beautiful, very meaningful. Laughing, crying. It was great. Anyways, so one of the speakers told a story about the Balatanya, which I can't get over this story. And they said that at one point, the Balatanya and his grandson were living in the same house. Okay, and his grandson, the Rebbe HaEmtsai, the Mittler Rebbe.
The Mittler Rebbe was the Rebbe's son. His grandson was the Tzemach Tzedek.
Okay, so when the Tzemach Tzedek was a baby, they were living in the Balatanya's home. Mm-hmm. And the Balatanya was on the top floor. His son is on the bottom floor, and with the baby. And the son is sitting and he's learning. Now the Balatanya is upstairs and he's learning. And the baby starts crying. And the father of the baby is so immersed into his learning, he just keeps learning. And the Balatanya hears the baby, and he comes downstairs and he takes the baby and he rocks him and he gets him to quiet down. And he turns to his son and he says to his son, when a person is learning Torah, right? Torah is supposed to connect a person to the Metzias, to reality. If you're learning Torah and you don't hear the cries of a baby, you are not learning Torah, because Torah is to bridge the heaven and earth, right? Is to be conscious of what real. And if you don't hear the baby cry, then your Torah isn't the real Torah, which is coming down. I was like, wow, that's an incredible story. That's incredible what the Balatanya is teaching. Yeah.
This is the second time I've heard it, but I want to know the source of it.
I have no idea.
Find it and read it myself.
It's a known story.
So I can
I've
very
heard it
slightly
many
put it
times.
toward my husband.
Rabbi Google or Rabbi Chat GPT, right? But actually, GPT is not good for sources. Very not good for sources.
No, it's
very not accurate. Yeah. In fact, a lawyer was just disbarred because he used chat here in Israel because he used Chat GPT and it invented sources that don't exist. So he was disbarred.
Most of the sources are.
So I would use Google more than I would, or Chabad.com, the Chabad.org. Yeah, Chabad.org will have it probably. So that's an incredible story. That's an incredible, incredible story, which is really, if you think about it, it's life altering, because, especially, people who are used to a more like, there's a certain idea of spiritualism, which is quiet, right? That I'm, so to speak, free of having to do things for other people. I can live in an ivory tower, or I could go meditate in a cave somewhere and not have any static, right? What is static? Static is people who need things from me, right? They're bothering me, okay? When in fact, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and this is what it says in the Tanya, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu created and put us into this world that we should make a dira, a dwelling space for Hashem down here in this physical world, right? Not up there. Up there is already covered. The angels got that, right? Our job is to bring consciousness, energy, acknowledgement, knowledge, knowing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everything should know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is running it, moving it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the energy behind anything, to bring that consciousness into the world. So Reena is specifically that bridge between ourselves and our Kodesh Baruch Hu, and it's the way that we connect to our Creator. And from all of the 10 expressions and modalities of prayer, Reena stands out as its unique channel of joyous song. It's not something we say, it's something that we sing. Now, singing is a very interesting thing, right? Because there's two types of songs. There's songs that have words, and then it's easy to concentrate more, right? We know the tefilah, when it comes to davening, when there's something that's a song, right? We know it much better. We know it much well. It's much easier to concentrate. It's much easier to put ourselves in. And part of the reason is because the notes are actually intentions, right? I have a book, a sefer, which is around this thick, which it's an incredible book. I've never gotten through it, okay? I just looked at it here, there. You know, you open a book, you read a little bit in the beginning, a little bit in the middle, a little bit in the end. It's about the holiness of the notes, the music notes, okay? I don't remember. It's an incredible book. It's in Lashon HaKodesh, and it's yethik. It's unbelievable, and it has actual songs, nigunim, and explains the kedusha. How many notes are there? 7, right? So it talks about they're connected to 7 spheros, right? And the 8th note is going to be revealed when Mashiach comes, right? And that's L'malam and Hateva, and that's Hanukkah. When we have Hanukkah, we have this extra dimension of expression of gratitude. We have this extra way, which is L'malam and Hateva. It's not in nature to be able to get so expressively joyous in gratitude and get to such a high level of song. But on Hanukkah, we can do it. And that's why we have 8 days of Hallel Shalom every single day. So Reena is not just a verbal expression, right? It comes with notes, and those notes has kavanah. And that's why there are some nigunim, tunes, that have no words. And they're only notes, because then each person puts in their own intentions into the notes. No one's telling you what to think now, right? You put in what you want to think. It's your place of individual expression, where there's no quantified, say this, right? There's no recipe. Do what you want with it, right? Open painting night, right? Here's the supplies, do whatever you want with it. So it's an emotional and it's a spiritual outpouring of happiness, and it comes with rhythm, it comes with song, it comes with notes, and it reflects the soul's joy in recognizing Hashem's goodness. There is such a joy in being happy. And what does it mean, joy in being happy? We're happy when we feel that we have. Look what Hashem has given me. And it's very easy, especially in times of difficulty, in times of war, in times of challenge, not to be able to see it. And to this, we have this past week's parsha, right? Yosef HaTzadik is sold by who? Not by strangers, right? Not by strangers, by his own brothers, by his own family. He's sold into slavery and banished. For what? For having dreams, right? That's basically why, for having dreams. He's morid b'malchus, he's going against the king. We can give him, there's many, many different reasons that Chazal give. But at the end of the day, his own brothers sold him, right? Yosef is in jail, and it says he's an ish matzliach, he's successful and he's happy. What's going on here? And we see that from when he's taken captive, he had a specific attitude which changed him. When he smelled the spices, Rashi said he was so delighted, because usually what do Arabs trade? They trade and they transport and they export tar, which has a horrible smell. But Hashem arranged that this caravan that I was sold as a slave to, has good smelling spices. How much does Hashem love me? How much does Hashem love me? I don't know if anyone has heard, there was a very, very special and Eshet Tzibur, a woman named Zahava Bronstein. And she passed away very young from an illness. And she had this code word that she used to say. She used to, wherever she used to go when she was having treatments and she was in the hospital, she had Yosef's spices. And she would look for the spice, right? What's the spice here? So the spice here was that I got a bed next to the window, right? So not everybody is walking past me all the time and I could see the sunlight, right? All different tiny little things in not a good situation, right? A difficult situation, a challenging situation, but to say, here are Yosef's spices. Where are Yosef's spices, right? When last year, right, the first time we had to say Hallel after Simchas Torah, Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, I'm sitting there with my siddur, and I'm like, I can't say Hallel. How am I say Hallel, right? How am I say Hallel? How to say Hallel? So many. Then it was so many more captives. So many people had died. We didn't even know where people were. People were missing. That everything was upside down and downside up. And how am I going to say Hallel? How am I going to say Hallel? And it took me a long time to hold on to a little Yosef spice, right? 10 grams of Yosef spice. But just like Yovein, disgratitude, if that's a word, right? Being ungrateful, being entitled is quicksand. Gratitude does the opposite. We get 10 ounces, 10 tiny grams, whatever it is, a milliliter of gratitude, and it increases and it increases and it increases. So I said to myself, you know what? I am happy that we have something so above us and amazing to live for. I am happy that we have all of these amazing chayalim, soldiers, and anshe zaka, the people who went to be mitapel, and nishot. Nobody talks about the women who did all the taharas, by the way. They're never on the news. They're very modest. They're very humble. But for every woman that was murdered in the Nova and in the Otef, there were, as a group, a team of women who took care of them. And they also are giborot al. They're superheroes, literally. Okay, it's such a sensitive, such a difficult thing to do, and these women did it. They there's an incredible group of women who do it, and that we have even something so beautiful to die for. That these deaths were not in vain. They don't mean anything. That they died al kiddush Hashem. That they died for being a yid, and not just because some other random reason. And from there, it grows a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And soon we're finding we have truckloads and caravans of Yosef spices. And it's difficult. And sometimes we need to have a tefilah beforehand. Hashem, help me open up my heart to gratitude. Help me see. Daven in Tehillim. David HaMelech says, Ure'ei b'tuv Yerushalayim. Let me see the good in Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim here doesn't just mean the physical city. It means HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It means my fellow Yid. Let me see the good. Hashem, open up my eyes. Because we can open up our eyes one morning and all we see is dark, thick, heavy clouds, right? Things don't look good. Things don't feel good. Everything is just, right? Let me roll over. So you know what I do on those days? I say, Hashem, thank you for giving me such a comfortable bed that I want to stay in, right? Thank you for giving me such yummy blankets, right? This is how we start our day. Moida ani lefanecha, with gratitude to Hashem. By the way, Moida ani was written by Rabbi Moshe ben Machir, who's buried just outside of Tzfat. Like as you're leaving Tzfat, when you're going down towards Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai, towards Meron, right? He's buried on the right side. It says in big graffitied letters, right? Rabbi Moshe ben Machir. He lived during the times of the Arizal HaKadosh and the golden age of Tzfat. And he was the first person who we know of that put in his siddur, he edited a siddur, the Moida'ani prayer. So we assume that he's the one who wrote it, right? And it's universal. Everyone says it. Ashkenazim, Sephardim, Teimanim, Italians, Sarfatim, everybody, okay? Everybody starts their day with Moida'ani. This is how, when we phrase our mindset like this, it just grows and grows and grows and grows. So the word Reena appears all over Sefer Tehillim, right? So let's look at a few of them and let's bring it home even more. So it says in Tehillim Perik, in the 47th chapter, Kol ha'amim tiku chaf, hariu lelukim bekol Reena. All the nations clap your hands. David HaMelech is giving instructions, right? He's telling all of you, nations, everybody, the whole world, clap your hands and shout out to Hashem with the voice of joy, with the voice of Reena. It's something universal. And the Malbim comments on this verse, explaining that Reena is a song of elation inspired by a Yeshua, inspired by a particular salvation. Now, we might think that, okay, well, when that happens to me, so I will, right, then I'll be able to get into Reena. But that's exactly the point. You have to look for it, right? We have to see, look, Hashem saved me from X. Hashem sometimes saves us from ourselves, right? Thank you, Hashem, for saving me from my bad mood, from my pessimism, from my negative energy. Thank you, Hashem, for saving me from, it could be a million things all day long, from a bad investment to making a bad choice. Thank you, Hashem, from saving me that I didn't eat all of the chocolate, right? That I only, took a little nash. That's a big thing in anyone who's been a part of the 12-step program, right, knows that you have to thank Hashem every time you're sober in whatever area it is. Thank you, Hashem, that I didn't buy more than I needed. Thank you, Hashem, that I didn't, right, that you saved me from drinking, from gambling, from any of those things, from helping people that don't want to be helped, right? Thank you, Hashem, for saving me for not caring what other people are thinking, but just making the right choice and doing the right thing. So Hashem saves us all day long, right? Hashem is constantly saving us, constantly bringing us out of that pit of Yovain, of that quicksand. And Reena is that constant joyous expression. Thank you, Hashem, for saving me. Thank you, Hashem, for being. This is what the Malbim says. Okay? And he sees that this is the song of joy that bursts forth when the soul perceives Hashem's kindness, clearly leaving no room for doubt or sadness. And that's because the power of Reena, right? It just chases away the sadness. It's light, right? We talk about Hanukkah, right? Says Surah Choshech Mipnei Ha'or. The light chases away the darkness. That is what Reena does. Song, joyous song, chases away the darkness within our soul. It chases away negative energy. It just brings such good vibes, right? Good vibes. Now, this is not telling us that we ignore everything else, but if we don't focus on what is good, we're ignoring a lot as well, right? It's like when I taught in the high schools and the seminary, right? So teenage girls, they have this thing called a bad hair day, okay? Now, what is their definition of a bad hair day? 5, 6 hairs that don't cooperate, that already, automatically it becomes a bad hair day, right? Okay, so if you do the math, right? Think of the math. You have how many thousands, right? They're young. So they've got a lot of hair on their heads, right? Thousands of hairs on their head. Let's say 10. 10 don't cooperate. And that is a bad hair day. So try the opposite. Try thanking Hashem for the thousands of hairs that are good, right? Thank you, Hashem, that most of my hair cooperates, right? Little couple hairs that are making the bump here, right? Right? It's a tragedy, not denying that it's a tragedy, right? But we have to also thank Hashem for the hair that is cooperating, right? We have to, because that's unbalanced, right? Focusing only on 5 hairs, 10 hairs, 15 hairs, right? What is that statistically? Probably less than 1% of all the hairs on your head. That's just inaccurate, right? That's scientifically inaccurate, okay?
Isn't that like the black dot in a white piece of paper?
Yeah.
That tiny black dot
Right.
sometimes catches more of our attention, right? And becomes all of a sudden the elephant in the room, right? Where, oh my goodness, it's huge. It says that this is horrible, this is a catastrophe, right? We have to put things into perspective scientifically, right? So if we want to look scientifically at our lives, right? Literally, statistics, right? Nothing else. We have much more to be grateful for than we do to complain, harp. I mean, we're good. I mean, Yiddish Shemam is part of our DNA is complaining. And it comes from a good fetching
About your kids.
about everything, right? And it comes from a holy place, actually. It comes from a place that we long for perfection and we long for things to be good and right. I heard an amazing idea I heard it from Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson, who he heard it from the Rebbe himself, from the Lubavitcher himself, that the Rebbe was explaining why people are so unhappy in this generation, right? And that was before, right? If you think about it, 2 generations ago, our great-great-grandparents, they were happy when they had any kind of food to eat, right? When they weren't being persecuted or running, they were happy. My great grandmother, Aleh Shalom, who was born approximately in 1889. Okay, I was born before 1989. She was born in, she didn't remember exactly because she had lied so many times about her age when escaping Europe after World War I. Okay, I'm not talking about World War II, I'm talking about World War I. She had lied so many times about her age that she didn't remember what her real birthday was and what her fake birthday was. But she was an old lady. She passed away at around 99. We're really not sure, again, how old she was. But Erev Pesach, when we were cleaning and she used to get so upset, she goes, if there was a crumb in our house, we ate it, right? We didn't have to have this like whole, search for the chametz. Like there was, the only thing we really had to clean was the board that my mother needed the dough for the bread. Other than that, we knew if there would have been a crumb in our pocket, gone, right? We would have eaten it. So how did we get from them? And they were happy. She was the youngest of 13 children, right? Very rare to have so many children in one family at that time. And some of them died, right? So as children. But they were 13 and they had nothing, right? Literally zero, nothing. But she remembers a very happy childhood, right? A very happy childhood. We, on the other hand, right? Well, yeah, we had Atari. We had the first Atari. My father's business partner bought it for us. I remember everyone came over to see it. It was like, wow. Okay. We had bikes. We had lots of food. We had a nosh closet that you can't imagine that this nosh closet was, right? And there was no lock on it, right? I mean, it was amazing. And if you compare the way that we looked at our childhood then and the way my great-grandmother looked at her childhood of literally depravity, right? She would talk about her amazing childhood. And we were like, yeah, okay, but the neighbors had, Sega, or they had, better bikes than we did, or they, they got pizza every Thursday night, whatever it was, shtuyot. And how did that happen, right? What is one of the things, what brings us to this place?
Having too much.
So the Rebbe was, okay, I lost my train of thought. The Rebbe was explaining why that happened. And he has an unbelievable explanation. And that is, as we get closer to Mashiach, we're getting closer to a state of perfection. And the souls that come in the world now are souls which are closer and more geula focused souls and conscious souls than the souls which were further away from the geula. So the souls that are coming in the world now are wired for perfection. What does perfection mean? Peace, serenity, abundance, calmness, not lacking, not wanting. These souls don't know exactly how to handle galus. They're geula-made souls because we are the souls which are going to welcome the geula. So our souls have been manufactured as geula brand.
How positive is that?
Is that amazing? So that's why, and this is what the Rebbe said, this is why we have so much divorce now. And you have couples why did people get divorced 2 generations ago? It had to be something like, absolutely intolerable. And even then, why do people get divorced now? For all different reasons, many different reasons. But you have couples. I don't think people get divorced. I do this all day long. People don't get, but they do get divorced when they fall out of love. Okay. And Amul, right? Previous generations will, like, do I have to remind you again? We talk about Fiddler of the Roof every week, right? Do I have to remind you again, like, do you love me, right? You can't even say you love me. I don't know what love is. Who knows what love is? As long as the Cossacks don't kill us, everything's good, right? So today, people are not okay with not having a deep, meaningful, real relationship full of love because they're a geula minted soul. And part of geula means love, connection, consciousness, partnership, right? Wholeness. So if I feel fragmented, I just can't function in a fragmented relationship, whereas previous generations could, because these are geula minted souls. It's an amazing
It's
thought.
so positive.
And
It's such a positive turn on, rather than saying how things are so crazy.
Horrible.
Yeah.
How we're just
Yeah.
So if we're not careful to be conscious that I'm feeling this because I'm seeking and I'm waiting and I'm ready for geula, we could end up flipping it into a self-centered.
Narcissism.
I was debating whether to use that word. I'm so glad you just answered.
Well, there's a lot of narcissism.
There is a ton of narcissism. The trend today that I saw a study that 1 out of 4 20-year-olds in America shows narcissistic, not narcissistic personality disorder. I'm not talking about that. Narcissistic tendencies, right? Which is, I mean, we see it, right? We see it.
1 out of 4?
iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
1 out of 4. Selfie. iPhone, right? It used to be kreplach for you. Here's knedlach for you, right? Now it's iPhone, me, iPad, me, me. Everything is me. Everything is around me. I can hurt other people because I need to self-empower. I need to self-actualize. I need to be authentic. And my authenticity means that I have to tell people I hate them, right? Because that's authentic, right? It's just being me. So the soul, right? The soul is a sensitive thing. So the question is, what are we going to fill it with, right? So we have these geula minted souls, and we need to take care of them and keep them. And one of the main ingredients of the geula minted soul, one of the main tashtiyot, facilities, infrastructure of the soul of the two. And if you notice, Melech tells all the goyim, right? Clap your hands, sing out with joyous praise. All of a sudden, there's this push in the world too for gratitude, right? In the pop psychology world, right? It's all about gratitude now. It's gratitude. You listen to Brene Brown, gratitude, right? She's one of the most popular speakers in America right now. Okay, I think she's great too. Her message is great. Her message is gratitude. Brene Brown is her name. Very, very fascinating woman. Yeah. I don't think so. No, she's not at all. No, she's not Jewish.
No,
she's not Jewish.
Not Jewish.
No.
Spiritual, not Jewish. So it's even flowing. We're so close to the geula that the goyim are taking David HaMelech's instructions here, which is start clapping your hands and sing of joyous praise to Hashem. So the Hasidic masters often emphasize that Reena is not merely emotional exuberance, but a higher state of spiritual alignment, where the body and soul harmonize to express gratitude. And this is what Rabbi Nachman teaches, and he further teaches, and this is a quote translated, when a person sings to Hashem, he unlocks gates of mercy and draws down blessing that were previously withheld. That's the power of song, right? The power of song is so strong. And this is whether you're singing by yourself or whether you're singing with a group. It doesn't matter. Singing in shul, this is the koyach of singing, the koyach of expressing joy to Hashem. And we're so fortunate, right, that we live in Tzfat, Ir HaKodesh, where if you walk around Friday night, the streets are oozing, they're dripping, right? The light, we don't need lamp lights, right? The song of Lechadodi and all the psukim, the Zimra, which we sing before Lechadodi, are all illuminating the entire city. It's bringing down the energy of Shabbos, of singing praise to Hashem. It's the harmony. We are harmonizing with Hashem himself, right? That's one of the greatest things here. Lechadodi, right? I had guests for Shabbos. One of them had never, ever been to Tzfat. An Israeli 20-something, 27, 28-year-old woman who had never been to Tzfat. It was such as all of a sudden you start seeing, I took her around the old city, right, Friday night, and all of a sudden you see it for all, where do we live? Wow. And I'm like, oh, this is where they sang Lechadodi for the first time. She's like, wow. And I'm like, wow, yeah, it is wow, right? This is wow. This is amazing. People are davening in the streets, and people, you can't even, we came late to shul, so we were outed, right? We're on the out because claustrophobic me can't, I can't do that. I can't step on anybody to get in a place. I can't do it. But it pours out into the streets. It pours out everywhere. There's it says in the Gemara that on Leil HaSeder, Pesach night, when Klal Yisrael used to sing the Hallel, right? It says Paska Tikra, that the ceilings literally flew off, right? You ever hear the expression "raise the roof with praise"? Right? It's borrowed from the Gemara. Okay, that's us. That's our tafkid, to raise the roof with praise, to just let it go out with that incredible song. So Reena functions as both a spiritual key and a healing force. It heals our soul. It takes us out of that quicksand. It's a balm for the soul, and it's transforming sorrow into joy. And this is what we say in Perek Lamed, Hafachta mispedi lemacholi, pitachta saki v'tazreni simcha. Right? What does that mean? You turned my mourning into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and surrounded me with joy. And this is what when we sing, and sometimes we're not in the mood to sing, right? Not always in the mood, right? In the mood, not in the mood, right? I don't sing well. I have a horrible voice. I'm tone deaf. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us in Shir HaShirim, Hashem says, Hashmi'ini es koilech. I want to hear your voice. Ki koilech arev, because your voice is sweet. Well, what if my voice is not sweet, right? What if I have what if I'm tone deaf, right? The same letters, which means sweet, ayin, resh, vez, also spell, if we change the nekudot, orev, which is a raven. So Hashem is telling us, even if you sing like a raven, I want to hear you. I want to hear your voice. You don't have to have this amazing, wow, you're this some superstar Zameret, you took voice lessons, right? You know how to sing. Sing, just sing, right? Sing, even if you sing like a raven, it doesn't matter. I want to hear your voice, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us. So we know that we have every day, the Leviim used to sing a specific perek of Tehillim, right? A specific perek of Tehillim. And which one was it? Shnia. Okay, I don't remember. I have to look something up. I don't remember what I wanted to say here. But the Leviim sang one perek of Tehillim, and they had a certain a song. Okay, a way of singing it was something beautiful. It was part of the avodah of the Beis Hamikdash, that every day had its own song. So one of the most vivid manifestations of Reena was the Leviim, the song of the Leviim in the Beis Hamikdash. So the Leviim would sing, and they would play instruments, and they would be korbanos being offered. And this was this great symphony, all these things happening together at once. It's this great symphony of praise and gratitude towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the Rebbe explained that the song of the Leviim represents the uplifting of the physical world to a higher spiritual plane. And this is a quote translated into English. Music has the ability to elevate the soul, bringing the finite and the infinite. The Leviim's Reena was not just an accompaniment, but the very channel through which sacrifices rose to heaven. So in other words, it wasn't just this like sidebar going on here, that, this is like a tosefet, it's an extra, it's a hidur. It was the vehicle for the korban to go up to Hashem, was this musical symphony of gratitude, this harmonizing between Olam Hazeh and the higher spiritual plane. So this is the transformative and koyach, the power of Reena. Not only does it express joy, but it also elevates. It elevates everything around us. It's the vehicle for elevation. And it's interesting that as we get closer and closer to Mashiach, the power of song in the Jewish world is growing and growing and growing. You have so many people producing music, bringing out music, all different kinds of genres of now, which is now Jewish music, because it's preparing us, it's bringing us something for everybody, right? Everybody has a song they could connect to. One of the eitzos of Rabbi Nachman is that a person should always have a song on his lips, right? When you start sinking into negative thoughts, negative energy, entitlement, start singing this song, right? And pick a song, not just random, okay, oh my gosh, I'm thinking bad thoughts, let me think in the morning, right? Once a week, once a month, whenever it is, okay, when I'm going to start to have negative thoughts, this is going to be my song. This is what I'm singing. Have it prepared. You have it in your pocket and you just take it out. It's there. I'm going, make it the ring to your telephone, right? Okay. So, and this is how we can use Reena as a tool to overcoming darkness, right? Because Reena is in essence, it's light, okay? Just like a light chases away the darkness in a dark room, Reena chases away all of the negative energy and sadness. So the Baal Shem Tov often spoke about using Reena as a weapon against despair and negativity. And he taught when a Jew sings with joy, even in times of darkness, he draws down divine light that can dispel the shadows. Okay? The Rizhnitzer Rebbe adds that Reena activates Hashem's Midas Harachamim. It's like turning on a light switch of Rachamim, pouring in Rachamim, mercy. It's interesting. It's a new thing, and I think it's really amazing how it's happening mamish now. But at a lot of funerals of soldiers who fell in the war, they started singing. They bring, Yishai Ribo, Hanan Ben Ari, Rav Katz. They bring and they sing, right? They sing Ani Mamin. They sing a song that was very meaningful for that specific chayal. And it's an incredibly powerful, uplifting, transformative, bringing rachmim onto the soul, onto all of the mourners, onto all of Am Yisrael. They also started this thing that when the last time there was a pigua, right? There was a terrorist attack. People go to the place where the attack happened and they sing. Sing songs of faith, sing songs of, and it's an incredible movement. It's not like a movement, it's just happening. It's Pigia, it's a combination of Pigia and Reena, right? This synthesis of these two modalities of tefilah, which is so powerful. Spontaneous outpouring of song, of thanking Hashem that we have this consciousness that everything has a rhyme and a reason, even if we don't understand it. Even if we don't understand it, at least we know that Hashem, you understand it, right? I can't, but at least I know nothing is random. There's a reason, there's a purpose, there's a tachlis, and it's a very, very beautiful thing. So I think we'll finish Reena. Do we have class next week?
Yes.
Oh, it's okay for party.
Yeah, from 12 to